into College Corner. The Sweet 16 is here. I've got my 3 favorite plays for Thursday in college hoops. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to let me know. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. Like the video. Thursday or Sunday's games, close it out with a 1-2 finish. Indiana, that team is as fraudulent as it gets. Soft, baby shit soft. Their season is over, so I can't say I'll never do it again because we're moving on to 2023 with that team. But bouncing back in a big way here. I've got 2 sides and a player prop for you, and we're going to start with the player prop. Before I get to that, though, make sure you go check out the link down below in the description. I've got an offer for you from DraftKings. If you sign up, bet $5, you're going to get $200 in bet credits from DraftKings. So I'll include that link down below. They've got tons of player props. Also, be sure to sign up here and even some other books, BetRivers, FanDuel, whatever it might be, to shop around for these best lines, because the one I'm going to give you here is at the best line available. Because again, if you're looking to win long-term, you need to be shopping and need to have money in at a number of different books to ensure you get the best number. But anyways, let's get to the first play. It's in that first game on Thursday. We're looking at Michigan State and Kansas State, and I'm going to A.J. Hoggard over 12.5 points. So this is a number that he hasn't been clearing a lot lately. We'll see some of the numbers here from props.cash. He's only gone over in, I believe, 4 of his last 10 games. So hasn't been meeting this number, but the reason for it has been foul trouble. And that will be key here for Hoggard to be able to stay out of foul trouble, to stay on the floor and keep his minutes up. And we saw with him out against Marquette, we had Michigan State, that was our winner on Sunday. When he was out of the game because of foul trouble, the team really struggled offensively and honestly on both sides of the floor. So this offense is going to be in his hands. This is another team in Kansas State that does have a propensity to force turnovers. And when Hoggard's on the floor, they do a great job taking care of the ball. So that will be key here. Kansas State does a great job of eliminating three-point efficiency, and really they don't give up a lot of three-point shots. They are one of the top teams in the country in three-point defense. Opponents are shooting less than 30%. So this is going to impact both Walker and Hauser, as those two guys tend to take a good volume of threes and have been their better three-point shooters. So we'll see a lot of those shots taken away by Kansas State. But the Wildcats' biggest defensive struggle, and why I love Hoggard to go over his points, is keeping teams off of the free throw line. They're 291st in the country in opponent free throw rate. And for Hoggard, he is the leading guy there at the free throw line for this team. He's someone that gets to the free throw line and averaging 5 attempts per game. That is number 1 on the team. Actually, a pretty high rate in the country as well in terms of his free throw rate, so good to see there. And as well, we talked about the K-State three-point defense, but on the interior from 2, haven't been quite as good. Opponents are shooting over 49%. Still a good number defensively, but compared to how good they are against the 3, you're going to see more points and more volume and more shots come inside the arc than outside the arc. And that's what Hoggard does. He takes over 10 shots per game. 90% of his shots come from 2. He doesn't take many threes at all. I like him to be their go-to option. I like him both as a distributor in assists and his points. I like his points a little bit more, but you could take his PRAs as well that are listed at 22.5. Either one would be great for me, but I would lean on his points. Next play we're going to, a team that treated us very well on the weekend. I really like Arkansas plus 3.5 against UConn. It doesn't seem to be one a lot of people are looking to back here early in the week as we look at the betting lines. But what 2 things do you need to do to be able to hang with this UConn team and beat this UConn team? It's force turnovers and as well get to the free throw line. So UConn, opponent free throw rate, they're 319th in the country. And offensively for UConn, they struggle turning the ball over, 234th in the country. What does this Arkansas team do very, very well? Force turnovers and get to the free throw line. Now, very high rate. We saw both Devo Davis and Ricky Council do that in the matchup with Kansas. They should have the ability to do that here. This team is 23rd in the country in free throw rate offensively. Razorbacks love to get to the line and are attacking the rim in that way. And then as well, forcing turnovers. 12% steal rate. That is 25th in the country. They can make life very tough on this UConn team and their guards. Arkansas is a very, very physical defense. Play with plenty of depth as well. Like as you look through this roster, Anthony Black, Ricky Council, Devontae Davis, Walsh, Makai Mitchell. And then they've had Nick Smith, who's an NBA lottery pick, projected NBA lottery pick, coming off the bench. So tons of depth, tons of options. They play physical. They can get to some foul trouble. But with Hurley, I've noticed that throughout the tournament even, he's wanted to stick to his rotations. Like you'll see Sanogo come off the floor. They'll bring in Clingan. They'll bring in Aline as well. And these are guys that haven't been very efficient offensively this season. So if you see this UConn team, which they'll likely do, get into their rotations, take some of their best guys off the floor, make sure they're playing and trying to utilize their depth. Arkansas is going to take advantage of that because this team is much more talented when they go to those 6th, 7th options off the bench than what you see from UConn. And as well, this is a UConn team that I can't really trust in March. They've struggled come tournament time. Last year, New Mexico State eliminated them in the round of 64. They took care of business against St. Mary's, a St. Mary's team that I thought was played very soft and really struggled to defend Sonogo on the interior. And this is an Arkansas defense that does a great job defending on the interior. Very, very good there. So I like what they can do depth-wise. I like how they can defend inside against Sonogo. They've got great length to do that. Now, this UConn team offensively that's led through Sonogo. So I mentioned Arkansas struggles in terms of getting into foul trouble. We saw a number of guys. I think Walsh, Davis, and maybe it was Anthony Black. Somebody else fouled out. Maybe it was Mekhi Mitchell. They'll get into the foul trouble, but with this UConn team, they don't get to the line much at all. They're 333rd or outside the top 300 in free throw rate. So they're not getting to the line. This offense, like I said, runs through Sonogo on the interior. The big guys don't tend to get the favorable whistle as much, and he kind of kicks out to the guards and Hawkins and whatnot to score from the perimeter. So you don't see as much driving to the rim from these guards and forcing fouls. That's going to benefit Arkansas on the defensive end because they are a great defense from the field. So I like Arkansas to cover 3.5. You can take them on the money line as well. I would much prefer the 3.5 though. I think this is going to be a very tight game. So not as big on the money line as I have been in previous games. This one, I definitely stick to the spread. Last one up, we're going to the big one at 9 o'clock. This is one of my favorite games. Honestly, the Arkansas-UConn game is probably this game and the Arkansas-UConn game are my two favorites on the entire Sweet 16 slate. But I'm going with UCLA -2 against Gonzaga. I think this is where Gonzaga's defensive problems from the entirety of this season come back to haunt them. We saw TCU give them some issues. There's an excellent tandem here for the Bulldogs between Drew Timme and Julian Strawther, but UCLA can match that with two excellent players of their own in Jaime Jaquez and Tiger Campbell. It's a very efficient offense, but defensively, Gonzaga has been terrible. They're 245th in the country in opponent effective field goal percentage. Opponents are shooting over 35% from 3, over 51% from 2, both of those outside the top 200. And I think offensively, which I've noticed throughout the stretch run here of conference tournaments and, of course, in the NCAA tournament, is this an offense that's far too reliant on Drew Timme. He's getting over 30% usage rate, and that's something that's really, really key for me to look at. As I look at the top 100 players in usage rate this season, there is not a single one of those players left in the NCAA tournament other than Timme. Zach Edey, Kendrick Davis, Trace Jackson Davis, Keontae George, Jerquavion Smith, Kyle Filipowski. There's so many guys here in this top 100 of usage rate. All of them either eliminated in a conference tournament or already eliminated from the NCAA tournament. If you run into a player that's a team that's very heavily reliant on one player, an off night ends your season, especially in these one and done, win and move on style of tournaments. And you're running into a UCLA defense that is very, very good. The number 2 defense in adjusted efficiency. Very good from the field. Opponents are shooting just 46% from 2, 31% from 3. I think this team's far too reliant on Timme, and for UCLA, they have plenty of options offensively. They don't drive everything through Jaquez and Campbell. They have other contributors. I think Singleton seems like, the ankle sprain that he sustained on the weekend, they're saying he's going to be fine. And like I mentioned, Gonzaga's really struggled defending the 3. So if they're taking it to them on the interior and kicking it out to Singleton, he can definitely make them pay. He's shooting over 40% on the year. I think he's going to be healthy, and if he is, he'll be a big contributor for them too. So I like the Bruins -2. I think just the completeness of this team on both ends of the floor is going to be the thing that does it in this Gonzaga team. So give me UCLA as a short favorite. Wrapping things up, we're on AJ Hoggard over 12.5 points for Michigan State, Arkansas +3.5, and finally UCLA -2. Again, if you guys enjoy the video, enjoy the content from us, be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. There's plenty more coming. And as well, I didn't mention this off the top, some of you guys are probably coming from Twitter as well. Be sure to follow me on Twitter. My @ is Tyler McKillop. We would have seen it at the beginning of the video as well. Be sure to follow me there. I'll have more player props, more sides, more totals, more bets throughout the Sweet 16. We'll be dropping videos today. We'll be dropping videos for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So again, be sure to subscribe, put those notifications on. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.